Take your best shot, asshole! No fear. No fear. Little fear. 7-7, happen, hoo-ah! 7-7, happen, hoo-ah! Put me on TV, I'm gonna drop some truth.
And where are the rest of you?
Up your ass.
When it came to choosing which character to start a video for their portrayal in the FS7 remake, starting with Barret was really no competition in my mind. They absolutely nailed him. Got everything right and then some. I'd even go as far as to say, Barret, man, he stole the show. And if they had followed a naming scheme similar to 15, you may as well have called this episode Barret, in my opinion. You see, the 1997 version, it did a great job at subverting the usual rules of character tropes, and despite being an over-the-top, exuberant, angry fish shaking up, pity the fool grumph of a dude, we still saw the breakaway arcs, like the one I've repeatedly said now is my favourite, the Dining Coral backstory segment. It beautifully layered a somewhat two-dimensional idea of a character, and that was nice, but I'll still even have to admit, even with that, to my mind, Barret of 97 had still not fully left that limited cliche persona. He was still the embodiment of the pissed off black dude Arcana. Now, upon seeing him upstage the frankly unupstageable, glorious other characters of this installment, Square Enix, they have redefined even my view of just how much Barret has to contribute to this story. Because not only did I feel eagerly amped up with Big B fearlessly leading us into every confrontation like he had a death wish.
Give me a suicidal last stand. At least that'd have it in. I ain't never looked forward to an execution more in my entire life.
He had me genuinely pumped. The world was a battleground and I was ready, on his word, to charge in, deal out some death and then make a difference in the world. Barret was leading me, and yet at the same time to see the cracks of that leadership, of his ideology appearing, even through characters like Tifa saying it, but even in the old coal miner himself. I particularly liked his reaction to President Shinra here.
Who would help the people? Help them recover and rebuild? You.
See, this small part here, it perfectly encapsulated what I'd always seen in Barret. I even wrote in a fan fiction, God, I keep going on about this, but Cosmo Canyon burned in my story and I had Barret, he was unwilling to help rebuild and he just wanted to be away from the chaos and destruction that in my story, even though he had been a part of causing it. And I'd always seen that because Barret had that after his hometown burned, there was this guilt, there was this self-blame, or even his absence in Advent Children. He was away seeking redemption. Yes, let's not talk about the stringer vest. I'd always seen him as a whirlwind of chaos who will happily smash a whole carton of eggs just to make a slice of eggy bread. But he can't handle picking up the pieces of the shelly carnage that he leaves behind. He'll happily spout about sacrifices that need to be made, but crumble into unaccepting rage when it's one of his own. There is definitely a flawed hypocrisy in Barret, who is better at breaking things down than building them up. He is by no means perfect. He worked in the unsustainable fossil fuel industry and he's judging Shinra, and that flows down through a lot of the unhealthy and harmful worldviews that Barret has, and by Square recognizing that, this imperfect Barret was just so perfect. These two lines in particular I really loved.
Even I used to buy into that bullshit. Tell me she is. Give me something to hang on to. Even if she's not, I won't blame you for it, I swear. Who am I kidding? I'd probably try to tear your head off.
Wow, that last one really got me. Fuck, this is a great Barret. His self-awareness is both there and not there just enough to make everything he does work in my eyes. Prime example, his boisterous, heavy-footed, bull in a frickin' china shop attitude.
Frontal assault, guns blazing. Make for a good story.
Why'd we bring you along again?
Listen up! We ain't running and we ain't hiding. Y'all don't know the meaning of suffering, but you will.
He is so unsubtle and in your face that it should be sickening. It's like he's not even taking eco-terrorism seriously, but stick in some moments like this.
So how'd you manage to track us down?
Followed the trail of bullet holes. There's nobody else I know who'd leave that kind of mess.
Or even just out and out turn it into comedy like this.
So far, so good.
To me, that added layer of awareness in both the developer making him and the character himself, that's what adds the extra dimensionality that had Barret win this remake over, not just for me it seems. After polling it up on the Facebook group, it was a pleasant surprise to see Barret quite unanimously taking the top spot for most improved character. And I think it's because of the emotional range of Gunny. It's so wide. We get treated to so many different versions and sides of Barret that it's almost astounding, sometimes hard to believe it comes from one man. Like one man could embody all of these different traits, because 1 minute he's living up to the Mr. T branding, heart and soul. Then he's giving speeches inspiring freedom, change and dropping truths, MLK style. If Barret were to be compared to bears, he got a Yogi Bear level of human ridiculousness, Grizzly Bear level of aggression, while at the same time Baloo's affection for the simple things in life, and screw it, even Winnie the Pooh levels of cuddly wuddliness. How can one dude be all these things? And I agree with the person who said that Barret's eyes are the window to his soul, because whether he's interacting endearingly with Marlene or carrying the weight of some of the heaviest scenes in the game, Square Enix have now massively raised the versatility of this character. And I would say this about all the other characters as well, that they're versatile. You know, the great thing I think about seeing the first 10 to 15% of the OG game now stretching to a 50-hour experience, while I think it has its flaws and some of it may come back to bite, there is no doubt it has allowed each character to be explored, honoured and evolved to us in so much more substantial way. They've all been able to have their quote-unquote moments in the spotlight. They've had their chances to shine. This remake consolidated definitively in my mind that Barret is a brilliant ass character, and the way Square Enix gave him those key prime time, stage time scenes.
Wouldn't be the first time I spit in Destiny's eye. Whether you can see the scenes or you can't, doesn't change that she's always trying to have it her way. Marlene! I'll come back.
It's felt like Square has recognised the potential that Barret had to be a star of this game, and John Eric Bentley, his VA and big FF7 fan, he has just done such a phenomenal job breathing new life into one of video games' cuddliest hard asses. Barret, the embodiment of oxymorons. They've kept him aggravatingly in your face, stubborn and loud, which many of the teammates, they call it out in the game, but they've introduced in this remake a level of balance, thoughtfulness and resonance that made this Barret a real person and not just a 90s JRPG trope. And very quickly before I round out this video, what could I see his character doing or becoming going forward? Well, it's hard to theorise with Barret, as I will on all the other character vids, so I've got theories for those, but not so much for Barret. By the way, hit up in the comment section if you like the style of vid and which characters you would like to see next. I say Barret is hard because as the story progressed in OG, I've always felt that Barret gradually, dying section excluding of course, that he begins to take a more of a backseat role. That other characters and events start happening that take precedence, most of which, Barret is either just confused as dicks about or he's just backseating, not really taking the centre stage with it, and I think that's a brilliant thing with him, because notice how as the game progressed in the OG that any notion of Barret being a leader again is passed up. Even when Cloud is out of action, they actually make Sid the leader. Freaking Sid! Rather than the Avalanche leader, who spends the first part of the game arguing himself as the boss man. Because Barret eventually, in my mind, he gets to the point where he doesn't try to lead. That he goes on to see quite profoundly the dark results of his actions, and in doing so, becomes a more and more humble person. It doesn't seem fitting for a guy of Barret's stature, size and nature, but it's actually spot on. Seeing humility and honest introspection become the emerging themes of Barret's development has just as much potency, if not more, than a dozen flashily choreographed action sequences. And just as President Shinra posed the mocking question of, would Barret be the one to help the people rebuild, I could see that being a hint at that being exactly what he does. Now, whether that rebuilding is a level 10 craziness of Neo Midgar actually being built, or just the world post-game, whatever that may be. Home was such a strongly emphasised theme in this first part that building one, rather than being a part of its destruction, is ultimately what Barret stands for in this game, in my eyes. That his deep-rooted fear is ironically the same cornerstone of his character, because he's fighting for the only home that really counts, the planet, a place for his daughter to live and grow free from fear, oppression and suffering.
The slums, your friends, the whole planet. It's Daddy's job to protect it.
It's a very small, pure endeavour for such a big man, but that's exactly what makes Barret great. He will go to huge lengths to win back the smallest of things. A home, a community, and a place where people can live with the semblance of independence and pride. The bloody beautiful Barret. I'd give you a big smooch if I could, mate. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the bell button if you enjoyed, and needless to say, I would be remiss if I did not end this video on Barret's best chuckles, funniest Big B moments, highlights of Wallace being a Wally. Until the next video, Kupo.
Guess that make you a 1-year-old, huh? We're gonna do it. Gonna show you how it's done. Yeah. Could blow up big, start a new trend. So this is some hardcore shit.
Who said we were lost, stupid old man?
What'd you say?
Pleasure to see you again, sir.
You a regular? People ought to try using the damn stairs sometime. You have got to be shitting me. To keep moving.
Sure to learn something new.
Yeah, shut up. Ought to come with a warning. That ain't for kids. Hey, don't pout. But tell me, are these stairs ever gonna end? This sucks. I wanna go back. Another day, another struggle. Climbing stairs, so much trouble. Cloud, slow down.